The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamiehapsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, your ultimate weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week on the Commentary Booth, we guide you through the world of entertainment media via the content we've consumed during. Along the way, we provide you with insightful commentary and reviews. Typically, I would be joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to help me steer you through the deep media options we face today. However, this week I will be helming the ship solo. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has listened and supported the show during these first 14 episodes. This is also an incredible opportunity to highlight the need for self-reflection and mental health awareness. If you ever need someone to speak with, my social media inboxes are always open. This week I've consumed 3 very different formats of media. Firstly, a video game in the format of the PlayStation 4 exclusive The Last of Us Part 2. Next, a movie on Netflix called It Comes at Night. And finally, a documentary series by the WWE entitled Undertaker: The Last. 2 of these pieces of media tackled very heavy themes, whilst the last one was ultimately a more uplifting, even though it did include some sad moments. Looking at the first piece of media that I consumed this week, I spent a lot of time playing The Last of Us Part 2. My initial playthrough was approximately 31 to 32 hours, and then I spent another maybe 10, 12 going through, picking up a few extra collectibles, capturing a couple more achievements or trophies that I needed to get in order to get the platinum and complete everything. The Last of Us Part 2 is a follow-up to 2013's initially PlayStation 3 exclusive The Last of Us, which has since come to PlayStation 4. This time around, the story is a tale of revenge and hatred, which essentially shows that a grudge can ruin anybody, no matter how strong they appear to be or the happiness that they may find at a particular point in time. As part of my review for The Last of Us Part 2, I compared the creative director Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog to legendary artists such as Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Picasso, Mozart, and Beethoven. All of these artists have now or should be recognized until the end of time as masters of their respective art form. For Druckmann, his latest work, not only a wonderful piece of storytelling, but also a technological wonder, which will see it become a game that should be held side by side with other timeless. I think its recent sales figures prove just how important this game has been. In just its first 3 days, it sold over 4 million copies, which is crazy considering as it's on one console. During The Last of Us Part 2, we continue on the epic journey of Ellie and Joel as they navigate a post-apocalyptic world overrun by the cordyceps fungus and warring factions of survivors. Where the original game was all about hope and love, this stage of the story is instead, as I mentioned, focused on hate, obsession, and incredible violence. Many players of the original Last of Us would have told you that they didn't need or want a sequel, but The Last of Us Part 2 adds so many more layers to this already rich, deep world. And this story will certainly pluck at your heartstrings with regularity. The game brought a tear to my eye multiple times. Druckmann's writing continues this story and takes it into highly unexpected directions, often challenging the player's assumptions and forcing them to grow just as the characters within the game do. As I mentioned, I played through the game twice, and throughout the second playthrough I noticed a lot of hints to later parts of the game, which I heard the first time around, but didn't know the reference. On the second playthrough, you know what those references are, and it's a testament to the level of detail within the gameplay and story. On a technological front, the game is astonishing. From the visually stunning character models, incredible locations, which despite all taking place in Seattle, are vastly different depending on where in the story you are and where in the city you are. The Last of Us Part 2 sets the bar so incredibly high for video games that it's very hard to see how it could be exceeded. And in my opinion, it most certainly won't be on the current console generation. Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece, and it should be held in the highest regard. Next piece of media I consumed, again, was quite dark in nature. It Comes at Night, 2017 horror flick starring Joel Edgerton, and has just come to Netflix. During this movie, after a mysterious apocalypse leaves the world with few survivors, two families are forced into the same home and share an uneasy alliance as they're unsure of the person they have just decided to share this house with. Are they evil? Is the evil outside? Are they safe where they are? Ultimately, they learn that the true horror comes from within. It Comes at Night, produced by A24, a company which always delivers the goods. In the past, they've produced movies such as Ex Machina, Room, The Witch, Moonlight, Lady Bird, The Disaster Artist, Hereditary, 8th Grade, Mid-90s, Last Black Man in San Francisco, Midsommar, and Uncut Gems. That's just a few of the great movies they've. Anytime I see their logo pop up on a film, I know I'm in for a ride. Watching it is incredibly unnerving, even though it doesn't over-rely on jump scares to get you in that frame of mind. It's all about building tension throughout and has an incredible payoff at the end. Ending still, though, leaves you questioning how, what happened, but that's not a bad thing. I really enjoyed having that sense of unease even upon completion. And after two such harrowing, heavy experiences, I had to try and find something that was a little bit more enjoyable to clear out the week, which is where I turned to The Undertaker, The Last Ride documentary series on the WWE Network. The Undertaker is a character that has been around for over 3 decades now. He's one of those people that has just been there, never wavered in his commitment to the WWE, never looked like he was going to go anywhere else, never made any suggestions go anywhere. This 5-part documentary series gives viewers a rare glimpse at the man and the action behind the scenes of the life of Undertaker, also known as Mark Calaway. Filmed over the course of 2017 to 2020, the series documents those years of his career as he prepares for his various WrestleMania and a few other key pay-per-view matches, given that he has very part-time performance when necessary and on request type at this stage. Much like the Michael Jordan series The Last Dance, The Last Ride shows a new side of a man behind a legend via rare interviews and insights that he'd never given during his over 3-decade-long career. He was always The Undertaker. It was never any sense that we as fans knew who Mark Calaway was. Seeing this raw family side of The Undertaker is truly touching. Seeing him interact with his wife and his children really makes him a much more significant person. Realize that there is more to him, not just an in-ring performer. He is a person who, if anything, you could describe his passion for wrestling as an addiction. He simply couldn't walk away. The documentary series shows that struggle. There were moments where, honestly, his body was telling him, you need to give up. But he simply wrestle the WrestleMania match, do a pretty incredible job, but get injured in the process. spend the next 6 months having surgery and then rehabbing and then preparing for the next WrestleMania. And for him to put himself through such physically grueling pain, effort, really showed the passion and determination that he had to go out on a high note. He didn't want to leave people. I wish you could have seen The Undertaker back when. And this portion of the documentary makes it so easy for people to connect with, particularly as someone like myself who can be somewhat of a perfectionist. Upon completing the series, I really feel Undertaker is finally had the opportunity to ride off into the sunset, the satisfaction that his final match was fitting of the Undertaker persona, was fitting of his 30-year career, and wrapped everything up into a nice, neat package that was highly regarded by fans. I hope now he can enjoy his time at home, father and a husband. Of these 3 pieces of media that I consumed this week, all of them are incredibly worthy of praise. However, The Last of Us Part 2 simply stands above and beyond anything. I think it is probably the best piece of media I've consumed. Simply shows the ability that video games have to take stories to new levels and to create a deeper connection, unlike any other media can, thanks to their interactivity and breadth of story. Thank you for listening to this shorter, but I think quite personal episode of the comic. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, because it really helps us grow. You can follow me across all forms of social media at Jamie Apps Media. Next week, we will be back with our regularly scheduled co-host, conversational, debate-style show. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine Jam Zine over on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.